exactly is a narcissist anyway? There's a lot of confusion out there, there's lots of information available, but we're not really sure exactly what is a narcissist. Hang on a minute, I'm going to clarify that for you. I'll be right back. Hi everybody, I'm Zari Ballard. Welcome to the When Love is Alive video blog podcast. Today we're going to talk about the exact definition of narcissism. What exactly is a narcissist anyway? Now when I was growing up, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I thought it meant the word conceited, like somebody who spent too much time in the mirror, grooming themselves for the outside world. And I do believe at that time that was the definition. And personality disorders, they were yet to be defined. Boyfriends and girlfriends, they didn't behave the same way. Or maybe we were, I don't know, a little bit more tolerant. I can only go by my own experiences. And while some of the behaviors back then may have been the same as they were today, I tend to feel that it's the intention of the perpetrators that's very different. Now, some may argue the point, but I'm a firm believer that narcissism is not a mental illness. I have a son with mental illness, and believe me, I know for a fact that people with mental illness would give anything to be normal, think normal, and not to have their loved ones running around trying to fix everything. Okay? Mental illness can be managed with medicine, with therapy, with love, and my son has proven that to be true. Those with mental illness, they feel emotional. They feel emotional needs. They have sympathy and they have empathy towards themselves and others. To call narcissism a mental illness is to do a disservice to those who truly suffer. Now, I believe that narcissism is a disorder based on behaviors, not a chemical imbalance. Narcissists know right from wrong. They just choose to do the opposite because doing the opposite is what makes them feel better. Now, as we know, narcissists, they come in all kinds of disguises. And initially, what we like about them initially is what we would like about in a normal person. They can be intelligent, they can be witty, they can be extremely successful. They can be very talented. They can move along in business just by learning and figuring out what makes people tick. This way that they have allows them to blend into society under the guise of being someone else. Now, the more nefarious characteristics that a narcissist has is the lack of empathy, the lack of sympathy, and the desire to hurt the people that in their lives that don't deserve it. I would go as far as to say that these characteristics, they serve up the best definition of narcissism. A narcissist is even willing to look like a fool even if it causes the suffering of others. They're willing to risk that. And narcissists will lie even when the truth is a better story, just to gauge how far their deception is going. It is not always the outward behavior, but the level of the betrayal that's the most shocking. Okay? It is usually the intention of the narcissist, once realized, that lays the fatal blow. In other words, not every cheater is a narcissist, but every narcissist is a cheater. A normal person that cheats once and feels bad about it and then never does it again is not the same as a person that cheats at every turn just to see if they can get away with it. Okay, the first person is an idiot. The second one is a narcissist. And the intention of both is very different. And all that being said, I do think that narcissism comes from somewhere. And I make jokes about it. I have two different scenarios. One is that there's like a conveyor belt of in a human factory where they make humans, and there's a bunch of inspectors there, and they're throwing off the bad product into boxes, and the defective product somehow made its way to society. There was the narc. There's thousands, millions of them everywhere, just defective humans. The second one is that they're narcs before they're even born, and they each get like this inborn playbook that just gets updated as they grow older, so they know how to act in any scenario. Of course, neither of those are true, but where it's supposed to come from is that somewhere between the ages of 3 and 6, usually when there's a parent who's a narcissist, I think it's more from neglect than abuse, but they just don't get the nurturing that helps a person develop the empathy and the sympathy that's needed to be a true compassionate human being. Narcs just never get that. And once you don't get it, you can't create it. You can't develop it later, apparently. Because this is why there's so many narcs are born. And they can't comprehend the empathy and the sympathy. They see it out there. They know what it looks like. They can even mimic it. But inside, it's completely empty. And they just don't have it. And they wouldn't, even if they could have it, it's not likely that they'd want it because they like themselves just the way that they are. I wrote a book about discovering or figuring out the characteristics of a narcissist. It's called Narcissism in a Nutshell. And this is my way of thinking about it. If you're unsure about whether your partner is a narc, make a list of the bad behaviors and then connect the dots, because it's all about connecting the dots with a narc. If the dots connect, then they're a narc. If the dots don't connect, then it's just a boyfriend or girlfriend behaving badly, and then you have the choice whether or not you have the patience or the time to forgive them and go on with the relationship. Usually, by the time people get to me during a consultation, and I do provide consultations in narcissist abuse coaching, and I can help you through all of it, by the time people get to me, they know. They don't want to admit that their partner's a narc. They'll call me and say, I just want to know if this person's a narc. And usually by that time, they already know. There's only been a few times where I've said, no, I don't think so. Maybe they're just an idiot, but they're not narcissistic. But most of the time, people know. Because the behaviors, like I said many times before, are completely mind-boggling. It's just, it's crazy-making behaviors. And it's like nothing you've ever experienced if you've never experienced narcissism. That's why other people don't get it. Friends and family, they try, but they just can't grasp it themselves, and you can hardly blame them. So if you need somebody to talk about, that's what I'm doing here. My books are on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles and iTunes, and you can reach me at my website, thenarcissisticpersonality.com, and I can help you figure it out. This is a disorder. The narcissistic personality is a disorder based on behaviors that are really hard to ignore once you become educated. And since there are millions, literally millions of narcissists roaming the planet and running the planet, the best thing you can do is be educated. It's the only weapon we have against these types of predators. So thank you for watching today. My books are available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, on iTunes. You can find my articles, over 100 of them, on thenarcissisticpersonality.com. And I appreciate you coming to watch my videos. Thanks again for watching. This is Zari Ballard, and this is the When Love is a Lie video blog podcast. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.